Have you ever opened a box expecting a memory and found a mystery instead? This story begins with a promise, a wedding dress, and a moment that would change one family forever. 11 years earlier, in a quiet town near the lakes of northern Michigan, a young woman named Emily Carter walked down the aisle on a warm autumn afternoon. The sun filtered through tall windows, soft music floated in the air, and every step she took felt like a heartbeat echoing in her chest. Her gown was everything she had dreamed of since she was a teenager, strapless, light as air, with layers of soft tulle that moved like clouds when she walked. Tiny hand-stitched details along the bodice reflected her love for old-world romance, and a long veil trailed behind her, whispering over the floor with every step. That day passed in a blur of laughter, happy tears, and endless hugs. When the night finally ended, Emily carefully placed her dress back in its garment bag, already imagining the future. She wasn't just storing fabric, she was saving a memory. She told her sisters and her mother that one day, maybe far in the future, her own daughter might wear that dress, or at least the veil, and feel the same joy she had felt. A week later, Emily drove to a small, family-run dry cleaning shop in town. The owner was kind, reassuring her that the dress would be cleaned, preserved, and sealed in a special box meant to protect it for decades. Emily signed the paperwork, handed over her gown and veil, and felt a strange sense of relief. It was like placing a fragile piece of her heart into safe hands. When she picked it up, the box was heavy, neat, and carefully labeled. She brought it home, slid it onto a shelf in the back of a closet, and promised herself she'd open it again someday. Life, of course, had other plans. Years rolled by. Emily built a life with her husband. They moved houses, welcomed children, celebrated birthdays, and survived arguments that felt like storms and quiet moments that felt like sunshine. The white box followed them from place to place, always tucked safely away, always untouched. Her oldest daughter, Lily, grew into a thoughtful teenager with bright eyes and a soft voice. One evening, while helping her mum clean out the storage room, Lily noticed the box. It was dusty, slightly worn at the edges, and had Emily's maiden name written in faded ink. "What's in there?" Lily asked, brushing off the dust. Emily froze for just a second. Then she smiled. "My wedding dress," she said, as if she were talking about an old friend. Lily's eyes widened. She had heard stories about that dress for years, about how beautiful it was, about how her mum felt like a princess wearing it, about how the veil had caught the light just right in every photo. "Can I see it?" Lily asked. Emily hesitated. Part of her wanted to save that moment for later, for a future that felt more certain. But another part of her felt proud. This was her daughter. This was the tradition she had dreamed of. They carried the box into the living room. Emily sat down on the floor, heart beating faster than she expected. It had been over a decade since she last touched the dress. The box felt heavier now, as if it carried the weight of all those years. She slowly opened the lid. The paper inside rustled. The smell of old fabric and preservation chemicals drifted into the room. For a split second, Emily smiled, ready to be flooded with memories. Then her smile disappeared. The dress inside was white, but it wasn't her dress. This gown had delicate cap sleeves instead of a strapless top. There was a thin satin belt around the waist that Emily had never chosen. The skirt was heavier, more structured, nothing like the airy layers she remembered. Her hands started to shake. She lifted the fabric, hoping that maybe the details were hidden underneath. But the more she looked, the clearer it became. This dress belonged to someone else. Her chest tightened. It felt as if the room had suddenly grown smaller, like the air had been pulled away. For a moment, she couldn't speak. "Mum," Lily whispered. This isn't it, is it?" Emily swallowed hard. "No," she said quietly. "This isn't my dress." The silence that followed was heavy. Lily's excitement turned into confusion, then worry, then a soft sadness that she tried to hide but couldn't. Emily felt something sharp twist inside her chest. That dress wasn't just clothing. It was the fabric of one of the happiest days of her life. And now it was gone. She stood up suddenly, as if movement might help her think. Her mind raced through possibilities. Maybe this was some strange mistake. Maybe the cleaner had mixed up boxes years ago. Maybe someone else had opened their box and found Emily's dress instead. Lily's voice trembled. "So, what happened to yours?" Emily didn't have an answer, only questions, only fear. That night, she barely slept. Her thoughts kept replaying the moment she handed her dress over to the dry cleaner. The smile on the owner's face. The promise that it would be safe for years. The next morning, Emily drove back to the old location of the shop, but the sign was gone. The windows looked different. A new name was painted on the door. Inside, unfamiliar faces greeted her. The business had changed owners years ago. Records were incomplete. Old storage had been cleared out during renovations. Some items were donated. Some were moved. Some were simply lost. Emily explained everything, her voice cracking as she spoke. The new staff tried to help, flipping through dusty files and making phone calls, but nothing led to her dress. Days turned into weeks. Emily posted on local community pages. She shared photos of what her dress used to look like. She asked other brides to check their preserved gowns. Maybe someone, somewhere, had opened a box and found a dress that didn't belong to them. Lily watched her mother grow quieter with each passing day. The dress wasn't just a tradition anymore. It had become a symbol of something lost, a memory that felt stolen by time and a simple mistake. One evening, Lily sat beside her mum and gently held her hand. "Even if we never find it," she said, "your story is still here. You're still my mum, and I still want to carry your memories with me." Emily smiled through tears, but deep down she wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. Because somewhere out there, in another home, in another dusty box, her dress might still exist. And all it would take is one person to open their box and realize they were holding the wrong memory. Before this story continues, take a moment to support the channel. If stories like this make you curious, emotional, or thoughtful, tap the like button and join our growing community by subscribing. Your support helps us bring more unforgettable stories to life. And just when Emily was starting to lose hope, a message appeared on her screen that would change everything. The message arrived late at night. Emily was sitting on the edge of her bed, scrolling without really seeing anything, her mind tired from another long day of waiting. Then her phone buzzed. A notification from a local community group lit up the screen, her breath caught in her throat. The message was short, careful, almost afraid to hope. "I'm not sure if this is yours, but I opened my preserved wedding dress box today, and the dress inside isn't mine." Emily's heart began to race. Her fingers trembled as she typed back. She sent a photo of her original gown from her wedding album. The strapless neckline, the soft layers of tulle, the delicate old-style details she had loved so much. Minutes felt like hours, then the reply came. "I think I might have your dress." Emily covered her mouth with her hand. Tears filled her eyes before she could stop them. She called Lily into the room. Lily saw her mum's face and immediately knew something important was happening. They read the messages together. The woman on the other end was named Rachel Moore. She lived in a small town not too far away, across the state line in Indiana. Years earlier, she had also sent her gown to be cleaned and preserved at the same dry cleaner Emily had used. After her wedding, she moved, stored the box away, and never opened it again. Until now. Rachel explained that when she finally opened her box, the dress inside didn't match her memories at all. Her own gown had sleeves and a beaded belt. The one in her box was strapless, light, and covered in soft layers. At first, she thought her memory was playing tricks on her, but when she saw Emily's post, everything clicked. Emily and Rachel exchanged photos. The match was undeniable. Each woman was holding the other's dress. For a moment, Emily couldn't speak. The room felt too quiet. Then she laughed and cried at the same time, a sound that surprised even her. Lily hugged her tightly, her own eyes shining with relief. They made plans to meet. The following weekend, Emily and Lily drove for hours, the car filled with nervous excitement. Every mile felt heavier and lighter at the same time, heavier with anticipation, lighter with hope. When they finally arrived, Emily recognized the white preservation box Rachel was carrying before she even saw her face. The two women stood there for a moment, just staring at each other, both holding boxes that contained years of memories. Rachel broke the silence with a soft laugh. "I can't believe this actually worked," she said. Emily nodded. "I was starting to think I'd never see my dress again." They carefully set the boxes down and opened them together. The paper rustled. The familiar scent of preserved fabric filled the air, and there it was. Emily's dress. The real one. The strapless gown with the flowing tulle skirt. The tiny details she remembered running her fingers over on her wedding day. She touched the fabric like she was greeting an old friend. The memories came rushing back all at once. The music, the laughter, the moment she walked toward the person she loved most in the world. Rachel found her own dress too, the one with sleeves, the one with the belt she had chosen so carefully years ago. She let out a long breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. The women hugged, strangers connected by a shared mistake and a shared miracle. Later, they sat at the table, talking like old friends. They shared stories about their weddings, their lives, and how strange it felt to lose something so meaningful without even knowing it was gone. On the drive home, Lily couldn't stop smiling. She glanced at the box on the back seat every few minutes, as if it might disappear again. "So, can I try it on someday?" she asked softly. Emily laughed through tears. "Someday," she said, "and whether you wear the dress or just the veil, what matters most is the story behind it." When they got home, Emily opened the box one more time, just to be sure it was real. She smoothed the fabric and carefully placed it back inside. This time, she added a small note on top. "Open with love. This dress carries our family's story." That night, Emily sat quietly, thinking about how close she had come to losing a piece of her past forever. All because of a small mistake made years ago, a mix-up no one noticed at the time. She realized something important. Memories don't live in objects alone. They live in people, in stories, in the way we share our past with those we love. Still, holding that dress again reminded her that sometimes even what feels lost can find its way back to us, if we don't give up hope. And here's the quiet truth this story leaves us with. Life will misplace things we care about, moments, memories, even parts of ourselves. But when we reach out, when we speak up, and when we believe in the kindness of strangers, the world has a surprising way of giving some of those pieces back. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.